He set the tone for a lot of that, for the format, the desk, the chair, the sofa, the monologue before and everything. And that was a formula that has been very long-lived because this was a long time ago.
Here are two incidents that happened to me, I kid you not, this week, Monday. I went to do Candid Camera, took Miriam and Randy, at the 53rd Street CBS Theater, and as we're coming out, it's raining. They have no hats on, they got their new dresses, and it's raining, and what a mess, 53rd Street at night. There's a cab there. What kind of luck is this? Hey! Well, there's an argument going on, and it's pretty rough. There's a couple of musicians who later recognized me, but they're really rough. And so I said, forgive me, but fight if you will, but is this cab, are you guys going or coming? And he says, well, look, Jack, we're going to leave, but this clown here has no change. I said, what's the problem? He said, well, I said, watch your language, my wife's standing there. Yeah, I'm very prim that way. So I said, what's the problem? He says, well, I got a 5, this clown's got no change. So I looked in my pocket, I had a 20, a 10, and 5 ones. And I said, well, there's no problem. Give me your 5. Here are the 5 ones. I'll pay him. And I said, now look, you're both wrong. I'm always Dean Rusk. I'm always pointing the whole thing out. You're both wrong. You shouldn't get in a taxi with $5. And sir, you should have change. Out. Miriam, Randy, in the car. I said, Trader Vic's. Off we go to Trader Vic's. And as we approach, it's 60 cents, and I realize we're right back where we were.
Jack was a great fan of Frank Fay. Frank Fay was a monologist in vaudeville. A rather disliked man, but a brilliant monologist. And then along came radio, and Bob Hope, of course, was the top monologist, and Bob did it in television too. But then along came Jack, and Jack, I think, certainly is the premier monologist of our era.
But the funniest thing was down at the Coliseum last year, down near 59th and 6th, and a fellow walked up, and this is sad. He had straggly hair, 2 teeth, one up and one down, unclean clothes, and there was a strong odor of wine about him. It was January, but there was a swarm of fruit flies around his head. But he said with great dignity, he said, I happen to be in town for the boat show. And I mislaid my wallet. Well, I thought that.
The monologue was very important to Jack. He did it very well, and he did it very naturally, so that people at home got the sense that he was telling stories about himself, about things that had happened to him. And it was like having someone in your house, like Uncle Ned there, telling you what happened to him on the way over to dinner.
An ambition of my life was to be successful enough to buy a German Shepherd. And that's the greatest dog in the world, in my opinion. And I was able to buy one a couple of months ago, and I told you about saying to the dog, on the paper, but not when I'm reading it, This is the most intelligent dog. German Shepherds, I mean, they don't do tricks like poodles. Poodles will do any little trick. German Shepherds read, they bake cakes, they do marvelous. And I can't discipline this dog because I love it so much, and I just can't make it behave because I love it so. Yesterday, I filled a swimming pool, and it was too cold to go in, so I was just sitting there with my feet in the water, thinking about what I'd say tonight, and the dog comes over with a ball. And I said, we've done that all day long. I've been throwing that silly ball. Now I don't want to do it anymore. And she looks at me. She goes to the deep end of the pool and drops the ball in the water. And then as the ball floats out to the middle of the water, she begins to go crazy and bark, screaming, barking. I don't want the neighbors to complain. I dove in, got the ball, brought it back. I did that 3 times, and I said, there's something wrong in this relationship, God didn't mean for me to go chase a ball for a dog. A guy told me that a company was going to merge with Procter & Gamble. He could tell from the way the labeling was going. And I should buy this stock. So that's all I need, And I run down, and I have several hundred shares of the stock. And I have no idea what the company is. I just know the name, and I buy it. And it turns out that this was a gefilte fish company. It was called, I think, Rokesh gefilte. Well, I ended up cornering the gefilte fish market. Now, what happened was, it was not merging with Procter & Gamble, as I found out. It was indeed, and this is the truth, merging with a brassiere company. It was the only stock that went up and out, as I remember at the time. And I don't know. So I was called down to the SEC, you know, the Security Exchange Commission, and I was put before the court. And what am I saying? This story's not true. And I said, well, it's true as far as I know. Well, in about 5 days in the paper, it all came out, and it was absolutely true. The gefilte fish company merged with the brassiere company. And to this day, I lost some money on the whole deal. But to this day, I couldn't understand what the point of it was. Unless somebody had some crazy idea of packaging or something. I mean, I just can't understand.
One of the things that I really respected was Jack's ability to take a kind of an idea that was half-formed and then work on it until it was a polished joke. And he would do that by, we would hear the joke, he would tell me the joke, and then I said, "Gee, that's nice. He's really confident that my opinion will mean something." And then I would see him down the hall. He'd be talking to a stagehand. He would be telling him the same joke, but slightly different. I would follow him around and see how the joke developed. And before he was finished, he maybe told the joke maybe 5 or 6 times. And after the 6th time, it was finished and it was ready. But he really, it was craftsmanship, joke craftsmanship, and he was very good at that.
This guy called his wife from his office, and she said, "Darling, I'm in the bathtub, and I'm standing here shivering. I'm in the nude, and let me finish the bath, and I'll call you back in 10 minutes. So the guy ran to his friend who knew the girl in his office. He said, "Call my wife right away." And he gave the setup. So the friend called, and there he gets. He says, "Hello, Helen. This is Mort." "Helen, good grief, you're naked." You know, you can go like this, but with the telephone, you got
The fun of working with Jack every day was that each day was different. I never knew what was going to happen that day, so therefore I didn't prepare, because you couldn't prepare.
So he didn't rely on a monologue by rote so much as just by freewheeling, and it was really freewheeling at the time.
He's the best monologist, or has been the best, because of it. There's a straightforward way of saying it, setting up the joke, telling the joke, but then there's that twinkle. There's that little sly thing behind it. There's, you know, I'm kidding, folks, but, you know, I'm not really kidding. He's really a master at it.